This has been the strangest reading month I've had in a very long time. Hi, hello, it's Nikki and welcome to my messy bookshelves. So today I wanted to share my wrap up for the past week and share also what I am currently reading. But before I get into the books, I just want to say thank you so much for all of you who have been watching my videos and subscribing. I woke up this morning and I was over the 100 subscriber mark, so I could not believe it. I never expected that. And for someone as awkward and goofy as me, who has trouble in social situations and who can never talk about books, I cannot believe that there are 100 people who press subscribe on that button. Over 100 people. So I just want to say thank you. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that I had a shout out from Shelly's channel this morning. So I am so grateful and so thankful for all of you and for Shelly, whose channel I love. But yeah, let's get into the books. So this has been one of the weirdest reading months that I have had, and I cannot remember how long. I finished Mistborn last week, the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, the original, the OG Mistborn trilogy. And I got book 2 from the library, and then I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't want to open it. So, yeah, I kind of found myself in a bit of a reading slump, if you will. So I decided, I picked up several things and put them down, and finally off of my shelf, I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses. Finally, I think I'm like the last person on the planet that hasn't read this book. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the world. I love books that have fairies, but yes, this is a book about a young girl, teenage girl, who is in a very poor town, and she somehow stumbles into a world where there are fae. So I love a good fae story, a good fairy story. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I did pick up book 2. So yeah, but after that, before I got book 2 in the series, I found myself at a loose end again. I didn't know what to read, and I was still feeling this reading slump. Did not pick up a single book on my TBR that I had curated for the month of May. I just wasn't feeling any of them. So I went to an old standby and I reread The Landor Legacy by Victoria Holt. And if you've never read any of her books, they are wonderful for people who enjoy Gothic fiction, and they are always centered around a female protagonist, and there is always some sort of romantic suspense in some sort of manor, castle, or out of the way place. But these are a great comfort to me. These books were the only books that my mother owned and that they were on her shelf, so they are a good memory for me, especially since I have lost her. So these are a comfort to me. So I read this not knowing what else I was in the mood for, enjoyed it. It follows a young woman during the time of Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee, and she goes into the, I don't know what you call it, the county, the area of Cornwall in England, and there she has some adventures. So yes, very much enjoy it. If you enjoy historical fiction with a good gothic-y mystery and romance, her books are great. So that was a comforting read. And those are the only 2 books that I have completed this week. Now let me get into the books that I am currently reading. And I cannot get over how vastly different they all are. So I am currently reading The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. And this is because I have read about half of it a couple of times, and I have never made it through the entire book. But Steve Donahue said, hey, let's do a read along. And as soon as he posted that video, I was like, yes, finally, people who will read this with me. So I started reading it and am enjoying it. And if you are not aware, it is the history. So it is not an adventure story like the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit. It is the history of the creation of Middle Earth and the First Age. So reads very much like a religious text, a mythology, and a history book. So I am enjoying it though, and hopefully I will get through it this time. The next book that I am currently reading, I had to get it, and that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. And after I read Piranesi last month and had seen how many people loved this book, I never had any idea what it was about. So I picked this up, I started reading it, and I'm actually loving it so far. So I guess her writing is just for me. So I love it. It is about magic in the UK. So I love it, and I haven't gotten very far into it, but I am loving everything that I've read so far. And then the last book that I am currently reading is somewhat of a controversial book, a very controversial book. And this is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. And this is one that I've seen on all the greatest books of all time lists and whatnot, and I picked it up, and it is one of those books. It has very disturbing content, and I can see why it was banned in the past. But much like my I don't want to say obsession, but my interest in true crime, where I just can't look away. It is not that I enjoy the content, it is that I am so fascinated with discovering why these things happen. And if you are unfamiliar with this book, it covers some of the most disturbing, just about the most disturbing content that you could possibly think about. And I don't want to talk about it, but I cannot look away. Like, I am reading it, and I don't want to say I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying his writing. The content is horrifying to me, and I can't look away. So I am getting through this book, and I will probably finish it maybe today. But yeah, if you've never heard of this book, please look it up, and you will see what content this covers. And I hate it, but I can't stop trying to figure out why. But yeah, I am reading this, and yes, I will get through it. And I don't know how I will feel when we get to the end. But yeah, that is what I have been reading and what I did read in the past week. And I thank you so much if you've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.